Good afternoon, good evening, everybody, and almost good night to our good friend Laurent Mairet in Burgundy. Welcome to the latest in our series of our virtual wine tastings and Meet the Winemaker series with persons of interest. And our person of interest today is Laurent Mairet from Bouchard Aîné Fils in Burgundy. So once again, before we dive into the nitty-gritty of today's presentation, just a few words. You will see at the bottom, there is a little Q&R box, so please feel free to chime in at any time with questions. We'll answer them as we go along if we feel it's appropriate, or maybe we'll pick them up at the end. We've already had our friend Annette prior to the presentation. Thank you, Annette. Sent us in a couple of questions that we hope to cover, that we will cover during the presentation. So as I said today, we are in Burgundy. We're in the historical house of Bouchard Aîné, and I would like to introduce you to winemaker Laurent Mairet, who's been there for very many years. Laurent, welcome. Thank you for joining us so late from Alerio, a tiny village between Chalon-sur-Saône and Beaune. There we go. Welcome. Would you like to just by introducing yourself to the people watching and tell us a little bit about yourself and your life as a winemaker?
Yeah, good morning, United States. Very happy to be with you today. And I am Laurent Mairet. I am the winemaker of Bouchard Aîné since 22 years. And this year is a birthday for me because it's my 30 vintage that I'm going to make in 4 months.
Congratulations, Laurent.
Yes, I am. My origin is Dijon. I was born in Dijon, and I study to the University of Dijon, and I am an oenologist. And because when I study, I start with biologist study, and I say, it's good, but I love wine, so I want to be an oenologist, and I became an oenologist, and it was 30 years that I am an oenologist. And now you said I live, you are at home, in my home, in my office at home, and near the River Saône, and a little village between Chalon-sur-Saône and Beaune.
Terrific, great stuff. So before, ladies and gentlemen, before Laurent takes us through the range of wines that we're tasting today, I'd just like to give you a little potted history of the Bouchard family, because, I mean, as you may know, wine is made in Burgundy since the 2nd century AD, and what we call serious Burgundy is really not that old because it only dates from 1098. When the Cistercian monks founded Clos Vougeot. But what we call negociant business, what merchant wine traders really date from the 18th century, and Bouchard was one of the first. So the Bouchard family was originally a family that was from the Lyon area of France, a little bit further south, just south of Burgundy, which was the cloth trading capital of France. And they were cloth merchant traders, and they would run their carts from around Lyon up to sell their wines in Dijon and sometimes as far as Brussels on their carts. And one day's carriage ride from Lyon would put you staying overnight in Beaune. And as they stayed in Beaune, they obviously drank wine and met winemakers, and then started buying wine and putting barrels of wines on their carts with their cloths and taking them with them to sell them at their destination. So the term of a négociant, in fact, is really a trader initially, was somebody who bought and sold wine. And the gentleman you can see here, Joseph Bouchard, in 1750, for reasons unknown, but probably thought that the wine trade was much more exciting, lucrative, interesting and enjoyable than selling cloth, and we would agree with him, decided to settle his family in Beaune and start the wine business. And that's how the Bouchard family got started in Beaune. Many of you will be familiar with the name Bouchard Père, and he was the original Bouchard Père, because Père means father. Now, Bouchard Aîné in France means eldest son, and it was actually his 3rd generation son, Joseph Theodore, who agreed to distribute his dad, had a little falling out, these things happen, and set up his own company in competition with his father's, which became Bouchard Aîné Fils, which is Bouchard, the eldest son, and his son. And since that day, which is in the middle of the 19th century, there have been the two Bouchard houses coexisting with friendly rivalry in the town of Beaune. Now, what sets Bouchard apart from other negociants at that date was actually the Bouchards were some of the first people to start selling wines in bottle as opposed to selling them in barrel. And even up to the start of the 20th century, much of the Burgundy that was sold in the world was shipped in barrel to places like Brussels or Bristol in the UK, and then they were bottled at their destination, which obviously meant there was some scope for, let's say, adding other wines and making more money by adding wines of inferior quality. Not that would happen, of course. But anyway, in order to guarantee the quality of their wines to their final customers, Bouchard Aîné were some of the first people to actually start selling the wines in bottles. And the very distinctive labels from the Bouchard house, which Lisa can put up for us now, you'll see here some very old 19th century publicity, and down in the bottom left there you can see some very old vintages from the 1950s, and always this signature band with the lozenge on it, which has been the trademark of Bouchard for over 100 years. And you will still find those labels on our bottles today. And of course, they are still a guarantee of the identity and the quality of the wines that Laurent is making. So that is the Bouchard story for you. So today, Laurent's going to be taking us through some regional Burgundies. We're not going to be tasting village level or Premier Cru. Today is all about Mâcon Village, Bourgogne, and then one of the village levels, which is Puy-Frisé. So, Laurent, over to you. Would you like to start by telling us a little bit about the appellation Mâcon Village, where it comes from, and how it's made?
Yeah, of course. So we start with the Mâcon Village. You know, in Burgundy, it's very easy. We have only 4 varieties: Chardonnay, Aligoté, Gamay, and Pinot Noir. And of course, for the Mâcon Village, the variety is Chardonnay. All the wines, the white wine, are with Chardonnay. An exception, Bourgogne Aligoté, just an exception. So this Mâcon Village is the origin, pre-origin, and I blend by must, and I blend the origin of 3 villages, Azé, Igé, and Clessé. And I like to make a Mâcon Village with lots of fruit. So I vinify this Mâcon Village in stainless steel tank in cold temperature. Cold temperature is about 14 degrees Celsius, and the alcoholic fermentation during about 3 weeks. And after
Lisa, could you just quickly put up the map of Burgundy so we know where we are, please, and what we're talking about, and maybe we can just map out generally. There we are. Just map out generally Burgundy and show us where we are, please, Laurent.
Yes, in Burgundy, you see you have 5 lands. You have, of course, Chablis to the north of Burgundy. You have, after the Côte de Nuit, it's here that you have the Grand Cru, the red Grand Cru that you know, Clos Vougeot, Romanée-Conti, Échezeaux, etc. You have Côte de Beaune. So Côte de Beaune, you have only 1 Grand Cru in red, it's Corton, and a lot of Grand Cru in white wine on Chassagne-Montrachet and Puligny-Montrachet. And after you have the Côte Chalonnaise, you have Mercurey, Givry, Rully, etc. And you have on the south of the Burgundy the Mâconnais. And on the Mâconnais, you have an appellation, Mâcon Village. You have about 30 villages who make Mâcon, who can have Mâcon Village. And it's a big region because you have 3,000 hectares in production for Mâcon Village. So it's very a big appellation. And I decide to have the sourcing around Azé, little village on Azé, on the middle of Mâconnais.
Right. So yeah. So Mâcon Village can be wines that are grown in some of these 30 different villages, and the wines can be all mixed together. They don't come from specific villages. And Lisa, if you can show that our wines are coming from the specific villages, the specific communes of Mâcon Viré, Clessé, Azé, the Ige, which is a little hot spot in the middle there. You can see, which is those individual villages have their own Mâcon appellations, are more specific, and that is really the optimum growing area for the Mâcon Village appellation. So, Laurent, you said it's 100% stainless steel fermented and aged. No oak in the Mâcon Village that you are making.
No, I chose to not have oak because we want Bouchard Aîné Fils, a Mâcon Village with a lot of fruit and a wine very open very quickly. So no oak. We're going to have after Bourgogne Blanc, white Burgundy, and we have oak in the white Burgundy, but not in the Mâcon Village because I want a very fresh aroma with a lot of citrus and a wine for aperitif.
Great. I mean, Annette, our friend, when she wrote in this morning, said that some of the wines like Mâcon Ige, for example, that our good friend Gregory Patry makes at John Boisset, they can use in some of those more specific Mâcon vineyards, oaking can occur.
We chose to make oak with this wine. It's different than our Mâcon Village. His Mâcon Village is more for the table for eat. My Mâcon Village is more for the fruit and citrus and for aperitif.
Great. Now, I'm sure you're not going to refuse to take a taste, so please.
Yeah, it's a good idea. It's a good idea.
So tell us your impressions. Tell us your impressions about the wine and what you would drink it with. So
the vintage is 18, and it's a very good vintage in Burgundy. 18. All the wines that we're going to have, it's 18 vintage, and it's a good vintage because we have a lot of production and the quality. We have the both. Quality and a lot of wine in 18, and it's vintage with a lot of sun and very with hot temperature, and we have wine with good alcohol and more round, not lot of acidity, good balance. It's a vintage with a very good balance. It's important for us, for me, to have a good balance in Burgundy wine. So,
cheers, cheers, Laurent. I don't have a glass. You can drink it for me. If you were enjoying that, what typically would you enjoy that with, Laurent?
Oh, impression. This wine is very open. Is very fresh with citrus, lemon, with little vegetable aroma. It's floral.
Yeah, floral. Very good.
Sorry.
That's okay. You're doing well.
Floral, and he has a good attack. With a good balance in mouth, and he's actually it's perfect to drink. You know, Neil, Macon Village is not a wine for keep a long time.
Right.
I prefer to say taste and drink not more 5 years after the bottle.
Great.
Yes, we want a very fresh aroma with a good balance, good acidity. So it's perfect actually in aperitif with Bouchard. It's a traditional Burgundy cheese food.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very good. Of course, you can have fish. You can eat with fish, river sea fish like pike or perch is perfect. But I prefer actually in aperitif. It's
Okay.
time for me to aperitif.
So we're going to contrast the Macon Village with another Chardonnay, which is the Bourgogne.
Yeah.
And perhaps you'd like to tell us what is similar and what is different about these two wines.
Yeah. White Burgundy, the Chardonnay come of Côte de Beaune and Côte Chalonnaise. So it's on the north of Mâconnais and on the south of Nuit Saint-Georges, and we blend sourcing of Côte Chalonnaise and the sourcing of Côte de Beaune. We buy in must in grape, and of course I press the grape in pneumatic press, and alcoholic fermentation in tank. This is still tank. Temperature like the Macon Village to about 14 degrees Celsius. But the difference is after, because 50% of the cuvée I put in barrel with 20% of new oak, and 50% of the cuvée is in tank, because I want the fruit and the oak, and after I blend. So you have about 8 months in tank and 8 months in barrel. And after I blend the both, and I want the fruit and the touch of oak with vanilla, touch of oak. It's more round, more grass than the Macon Village. And I want a wine for all the meat that you can imagine, for fish, for jam, for cheese. Why not? You can have
Yes.
cheese, goat cheese. It's a good idea with Bourgogne.
Now, just for people watching, a word about the oaking, Laurent, because when Americans talk about oaked Chardonnays, they have this image of these big, rich, fat, buttery oaking, highly oaked, often California Chardonnays. Burgundy oaking is not like that at all, right? We're not getting big, fat, buttery oak.
No, we. Tu veux me dire qu'il n'est pas trop plus boisé?
That's okay. I just said that even though this is an oaked wine, it's aged in oaked, it is not all like big oaky California wines. It's not because it's aged in oak that it's necessarily oaky.
Yeah, it's different. It's with more good balance and more acidity, and only French oak. With this wine, only French oak, and I want a wine with white fruit, and just a touch of acidity, and the oak. That's the one with this wine.
Question came in, Laurent, from our good friend Dina in Chicago. She's not familiar with the term must. So can you explain what you mean by when you're buying must, as opposed to buying wine or buying grapes?
Yeah. When the grape is so far to my winery, I prefer to buy in must because it's difficult with the grape, with the transport, and you have problem of oxidation. So I prefer to buy in must, and after I blend with the juice of fruits.
Right, exactly. So the must is actually the unfermented grape juice.
Yeah.
After press. Yeah.
Yes. Yes.
Terrific.
Exactly. But you know, Neil, the maximum for me, the maximum for transport grape is about 50 kilometers, not more.
Right.
No, after you have problem of oxidation on the grape, it's not good for the quality.
Terrific. Great. So your impressions of this Bourgogne Chardonnay?
Yeah, a very good color. The nose is open, and you have a very fresh aroma. You have peach on the nose, and a touch of vanilla, just a touch of vanilla, very pleasant. We have a good attack with good acidity, and after we have longer in mouth. You have a long mouth, and it's very nice. I like this wine actually. It's open, and but you can keep. I think more 7 years, 8 years, no problem. You see the difference with Macon Village. Macon Village, I think 4-5 years maximum, and Bourgogne Blanc Chardonnay, 8 or 9 years, no problem with this wine. It is perfect.
Great. Wonderful.
Yeah. You know, in the white Burgundy Chardonnay, it's not a big appellation. You have only 1,000 hectares. You know, 1,000 hectares for Burgundy, white Burgundy, and 3,000 hectares for Macon Village. So
right,
you can see the difference. And white Burgundy, you have more chicory soil. You have more chicory soil. So
chalky soils, yes.
Chalky soil, sorry.
That's okay.
And it's important because you have nervous. It's a wine with a nervous.
Yeah, so by nervous, Laurent means that it has more of that racy acidity and minerality. Macon is from a little further south, slightly warmer and more clay soils. It gives you this more juicy, fleshy style of Chardonnay, where in further north, Côte de Beaune, Côte Chalonnaise, you're on typical white Burgundy, which has these much higher acidity, mineral, leaner, and more age-worthy styles of Chardonnay.
Yeah. You know, so I love this wine with meat that my wife make. It's Zander, le Cendre.
Oh, yeah, the Zander, yes.
Yeah, Zander of the Saône. That when I fish, because the Saône is to about 100 meters at my house. So it's and when I have time, I love to go fishing in the river. And when I take a Zander, my wife prepares this Zander with the mayonnaise and with the white Burgundy. It's perfect for me.
Wonderful, terrific. Just another quick question that came in, just to qualify: what is a hectare for those people looking in. A hectare is, of course, the French measurement of area for vineyards, and it's about 2.5 times the size of an acre. So when Laurent says that Bourgogne Blanc, the growing region, is about combined 1,000 hectares, he's talking about 2,500 acres, and then of course 3 times as much for that in the Mâcon village. Shall we take a trip back to south of Mâcon to Pouilly-Fuissé, which is one of Burgundy's iconic places and most well-known appellations?
Yeah.
Say, Laurent.
After vous faites Pouilly-Fuissé?
Yes, absolutely.
Yeah. Okay. All right.
Unless you want to keep it all for yourself.
So, Pouilly-Fuissé is a village on Mâconnais. We have the map, so you can see Pouilly-Fuissé. It's a big appellation for a village. You have 750 hectares. So I don't know in acre.
It's about 2,000 acres, yeah.
And you have only 4 villages who produce Pouilly-Fuissé. Fuissé, Solutré, Pouilly, Chintré et Vergison. There are 4 villages for Pouilly-Fuissé. And we buy, of course, in must, because it's too far than Beaune in my winery. So I buy in must, and I vinify in tank, of course, in cold temperature, not 14 degrees Celsius, but more 16, 18 degrees Celsius. Little more than Chardonnay, Burgundy, Chardonnay, and Mâcon village. And but the alcoholic fermentation during 15 days, and after when you have about 20 grams per liter of sugar, I put 50% of the cuvée in barrel, and the alcoholic fermentation finish in barrel. And after, of course, after 9 months in this vintage, I blend the part of oak and the part of tank. The same philosophy like Bourgogne Chardonnay, same philosophy, but the difference is that you have 30% of new oak on the part of oak. So little more oak, and I want Pouilly-Fuissé with Côte de Beaune style. I don't want a Pouilly-Fuissé. You have a lot of Pouilly-Fuissé style of Pouilly-Fuissé, but generally Pouilly-Fuissé are not aging in barrel, only in tank. And for Bouchard Aîné Fils, we decide to make a Pouilly-Fuissé with style of Côte de Beaune, with aging in barrel, and generally it's 9 months in barrel, and because we want a wine very rich, very grass, very round, with a fresh aroma of lemon, citrus, and white fruit.
Terrific. Lisa, would you please just put up the picture of the vineyards that you had up before, because it's a tremendous, iconic photograph that people may not be familiar with. It looks like something out of The Lion King, but that's actually the Roche de Solutré, which is in the middle of the Pouilly-Fuissé vineyards. Interesting from a historical point of view, because at the foot of that escarpment, they found the remains of thousands of fossilized horses from prehistoric times that prehistoric man had chased over the top of that cliff, and they're not sure whether it was for some sort of pagan rite or whether it was because it was for hunting for food, but the story doesn't tell. But here, actually, one of the things you can see that Laurent was saying is this specific soil type, how much hard calcareous rock you have in the Pouilly-Fuissé area compared to the Mâconnais in general. And this is why you get these superior wines here, because these soil types obviously drain better, You can see that they have great exposure to the sun, good slopes, drainage, and as I say, these hard calcareous soils producing Chardonnays that are more of the level that you would find further north than the rest of the Mâconnais. Thank you. So I think with the whites, Laurent, merci beaucoup. Can we switch colors and you can tell us a little bit about the Bourgogne Rouge, Bourgogne Pinot Noir.
So this Pouilly Frisé with, you know, for this Pouilly Frisé with frog, with egg frog, is perfect.
Ah, frog's legs.
Frog's egg is perfect.
Aha. There you are. The challenge is thrown out there for somebody looking in. If you want to send us a photo of you drinking, if you say with frog legs, we'll definitely post that on our social media.
So we have only one red, but the famous Bourgogne Pinot Noir. So this vintage, of course, Pinot Noir is for me it's fantastic. Pinot Noir is fantastic. In Burgundy, I think you have a very, very nice expression, and you can make Bourgogne Pinot Noir in you have about 2,000 hectares in production actually. So you can see it's a double that the Chardonnay, the white Burgundy, it's the double. And we buy the grape in Côte de Beaune and Côte Chalonnaise. We have the both. And the grape arrive to my winery. And of course, we distinct the grape to 100%, and I vinify only in wood vat. I don't crush the grape when they arrive, but I like to have 4 or 5 days in cold maceration to about 10–11 degrees Celsius during 5 days. And after I stop to make frozen and the temperature grow. And I like to vinify to about 31–32 degrees Celsius. It's important to have a hot temperature, more for me, more 30 degrees Celsius, because you have a good extraction with the temperature, and you have more aroma. The yeast have more difficulty to vinify, to transform the sugar in alcohol, and you have more ester, it's more aromatic. So it's important. And the maturation, the alcoholic fermentation during 2 weeks, 2 or 3 weeks. And after 3 weeks, I take the juice and I press the grape, of course, and I blend the both, the pressed juice and the juice. And after I put in barrel for 6 or 8 months, depends the vintage. In 18, it was 8 months in a barrel with 25% of new oak, only French oak for this cuvée. And I work for my secret. I work with 5-barrel maker. Because I like to have a different aroma. Each barrel maker, each barrel is different, and it's important because it's a middle toast, and it's important to have a different aroma of oak coffee, caramel, toffee, spices, vanilla, etc. And it is important to have this aroma on the red Burgundy, on the Pinot Noir.
So I have a question that's come in for you from our friend Ken in California. Yeah. And he's saying that Pinot Noirs from Burgundy have a very specific expression, which is unique to Burgundy. One, how would you describe Burgundy Pinot compared to, for example, California Pinot? And two, are there any differences in the winemaking between California and Burgundy?
It's a good question, difficult question. I think the red Burgundy, Pinot Noir in Burgundy, you have a specific soil with a lot of sock, calcaire.
Yeah, calcareous, chalky soils, yeah.
Yeah, and with clay, and you have an expression with good acidity, a fruit with acidity. In United States, I think Pinot Noir is more high degree and more heavy. More heavy. After, it depends the aging that you make. In Burgundy, you know, only French oak, not a long aging for the Pinot Noir, 8-9 months in Napa Valley or Oregon, etc. Pinot Noir, it's more, you have more time, more long time in barrel, or you don't have barrel. So the expression is different. It's very, very, very different. And another thing, in Burgundy, you can keep long time, and the vintage is very, very important. And with 18, we have chance to have a very good vintage. I think we're going to keep the Pinot Noir in Burgundy more 10 years. More 10 years. It's a generic appellation, it's not a village. But I think you can keep 10 years. I don't sure that in United States you can keep more 10 years like in Burgundy. I don't sure.
That's great, thank you. Now, one of the questions that
English, je suis chauvin.
Yes, you're biased. Yes, yes, exactly. Well, and so you should be. One of the questions that we had before the transmission was specifically about how important is vintage in Burgundy. Could you talk a little bit about the 2018 vintage against the 19 vintage and your impressions of how important vintage can be for the Chardonnay Pinot in Burgundy?
Between 18 and 19?
And other vintages, if you like, just to illustrate.
Yeah. For me, the vintage that I love is 2010, and after 2015, and 18. 19, actually, we start to botting the 19 vintage, and we have not a lot of quantity, but we have a quality. But we have we start the alcoholic fermentation with a lot of sugar, and we have alcoholic degree very high, and be careful for keep a good balance for the 18, for the 19. Sorry, 18 is with a more good balance than 19. But it's too. I'm going to see that in 6 months.
Good question. Where are we in 2020, Laurent? How is I know it's very early in the season, but how is the vintage 2020 looking?
20 and 20. Actually, we never see that. The vineyard grow very, very quickly. And I think possible that we start the harvest at the middle of August. It's incredible. We have hot temperature. We have actually it rain in Burgundy, and we're going to have 3 days with rain, and after stop. And the next week we have very good temperature, and I think we don't start the harvest in September, but in August. And we don't have holiday for the winemaker. Not holiday this year.
And will we have a lot of fruit this year? That's what all Burgundy lovers want to know, Laurent. Will there be volume? Will we have wine to sell in 2020?
Yeah, I think we're going to have a lot of volume.
A lot of good, a lot of great wine.
Be careful the storm, because we start to have a storm actually, and be careful to the hail.
Yeah, the hail. Yeah.
And be careful. It could be a problem in May.
Right. There is still a risk of frost at this time of year.
No, we don't. We have a frost, but minus 2 or 3 degrees Celsius. So not problem for the vineyard. We don't have problem with frozen, but we are in May in one day. I think it's good. No, the problem is for me more the storm.
Okay, so I don't think we saw you taste the Pinot Noir, Laurent.
No, I just test. I taste.
Perhaps you can just tell us your impressions of the Pinot Noir before we say goodbye.
So he has a very good color, very nice. I don't know if you see the color on my glass.
Yeah.
Yeah. We have cherries. Not of cherries on the nose is fantastic. Actually, it's very young, and you have a cherries. It's super for me. Is that I want on the Pinot Noir when he's young. We have a good attack with a lot of tannin, but round tannin, not aggressive tannin, and but you have a good impression in the mouth, and I think you can keep 10 years. You have no problem with this wine. You have a touch of spices at the phenol. It's very, very nice. I think he is perfect with the spices, with the cheese, for example. Comté, French cheese, of course. And I think he is perfect. Or with beef. With beef is very good with beef. Beef and cheese. I think it's perfect. Actually, for this one.
Terrific. All right. Well, Laurent, thank you so much. I can't see any more questions coming in from any of the people tuning in. So if anybody does have any last minute questions, feel free, now is the moment. If not, we will be sending an email link for anybody who wants to ask us questions after today's broadcast, and Laurent or myself will get back to you with anything you would like to ask us. So Laurent, I would like to thank you once again for welcoming your home.
It's me. Thank you very much to the people, and very a pleasure to make this tasting with you.
All right. Well, listen, you take care. Good luck with the vintage. It sounds like it's going to be a great one for your 30th anniversary vintage.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure having you. Thank you very much for everybody for joining us. Hope you've enjoyed Laurent. I hope you'll enjoy his wines. And tune in a short while when we zip very quickly down to the south coast to join up with our good friend Laurent Sauvage once again to talk Languedoc. So thank you very much. Have a good evening, great afternoon. Thank you, Laurent. Good night. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Thank you. Thank you.